Hello friends, my name is Prateek Bhatt. I have been leading the Mains Guidance Program MGP team at Forum IAS. Today I am before you with a video on Shree Karpoori Thakur ji. Friends, the Union government has decided to bestow Bharat Ratna on Shree Karpoori Thakur ji on the occasion of his 100th birth anniversary. Viewers, we know that Bharat Ratna is the highest civilian award awarded by the Government of India. To date, 49 awardees have been awarded this award, including those who have been awarded posthumously like Shree Karpoori Thakur ji. Let's have a quick look at the logo of Bharat Ratna. It's in the shape of a people leaf. There is a sun symbol here and Bharat Ratna written beneath the sun symbol. On the back side, there is a national emblem and there is Satyamev Jayate written beneath the national emblem. So keep this logo in mind. There is a possibility that a question in the prelims exam may come in 2024. Also viewers, the interesting thing to note about Bharat Ratna is that the Bharat Ratna awardees are ranked very high in the order of precedence. They are ranked at a position of 7th, 7A. Here the order of precedence belongs to Bharat Ratna awardees. Okay. Also, another interesting thing is that there is no monetary reward. There is no monetary reward associated with Bharat Ratna. No monetary reward. Okay. So these small facts are important and they might be asked in the prelims examination. Also, one more question comes to my mind. Viewers, is the provision of awarding the award posthumously was there since the inception or was it added at a later date? If you know the answer to this question, please mention it in the comment section. I will leave the right answer in the description of the video. Now let's come back to Karpoori Thakur ji. Karpoori Thakur ji was a socialist leader from Bihar. Socialist leader from Bihar. He was born on January 24th in 1924, Samastipur. Karpoori Thakur ji belonged to the Nai community and had very humble beginnings. Viewers, Nai community is one of the most backward communities in the country. And when I say humble beginnings, what do I really mean? We understand that the caste barriers and caste restrictions in India present several impediments for a person to move ahead in life. And Karpoori Thakur ji crossed all these impediments with ample amount of grace and went on to become a great political leader and the chief minister of Bihar twice. Karpoori Thakur ji was inspired by Gandhian principles, as we will see later in this video. During the freedom struggle, Karpoori Thakur ji participated in Kisan Sabhas. Kisan Sabhas roughly were parallel time period wise with non-cooperation movement, that is 1920s, and they went on to go in 1930s as well as in 40s. These sabhas were greatly inspired by the ideas of Sahajanand Saraswati ji. Okay, and he was a socialist leader. Therefore, from the very beginning, Shree Karpoori Thakur ji had socialist inclinations, and this greatly reflected in his political career ahead. Also, Karpoori Thakur ji during the freedom struggle participated in Quit India movement. Overall, for his participation in India's national movement, he was imprisoned for 26 months. This shows the grit and determination that Karpoori Thakur ji had for public service. Now let's move on and see what Karpoori Thakur ji did post India's independence. Shree Karpoori Thakur ji, after the independence of India, went on to become an MLA, Bihar Legislative Assembly, on the ticket of Socialist Party. Friends, from his political career beginning as an MLA, he went on to helm the political executive in the state and being the Chief Minister of Bihar twice, once in 70 to 71 and the second time from 77 to 79. Yes, friend, many of you would have guessed that this time period is important because during this time, the Janta-Party was in power in the center. So now I will give a little bit of background on Janta-Party. Okay. Viewers, from 75 to 77, there was an emergency imposed in the country by Shrimati Indira Gandhi ji. And once this emergency was removed and elections were held, the Janta Party came to power under the leadership of Morarji Desai. The same Janta Party was also in power in Bihar and Shree Karpoori Thakur ji was its chief minister. The Janta Party bring in a very important constitutional amendment, that is the 44th constitutional amendment in 1978. This amendment made significant changes to one particular article, that is 352, and made the imposition of emergency very difficult. Mention in comment section any three changes which were brought about by 44th constitutional amendment. Now let us note one thing. I have already told you that Shree Karpoori Thakur ji belonged to the Nai community, and then also he went on to become the chief minister of a state, Bihar, twice. This shows that starting from very humble origins, he went on to gain great height in political sphere, which is an example of adversity quotient. Adversity quotient. Now, what is adversity quotient? As we can guess by the name itself, it is the quality of remaining calm, composed, and showing perseverance in the face of great difficulties, over a long duration of time, and eventually coming out as a winner. So, in your GS paper 4, ethics, this quality is very important, and if a question comes and if you find an appropriate place where you can quote an example of adversity quotient, you must remember quoting the example of Shree Karpoori Thakur ji. Moving on, friends. Now let's understand the legacy of this great socialist leader from Bihar. I have divided the legacy section in two parts, friends. Three parts, friends. So one is social inclusion. Now, when he was the education minister in Bihar, what he did, he removed English as a mandatory subject for matriculation. Listen to me very carefully. Removed English as a mandatory subject in the matriculation exam. Now, what does it mean? Now, this means that even those who couldn't understand English or didn't have access to the learning of English language could still go and give matriculation exam and become a matriculant. Now, we can rightly guess that English is a great class barrier. Now, what does this mean? This means that knowing or not knowing English may have outcome for you professionally as well as personally. Okay, that is what a class barrier is. So in our day-to-day life, we see various class barriers like English, and even if you will think, fashion is also a class barriers. So viewers, mention in the comment section some other class barriers that you see in everyday life. Coming back to the action of Karpoori Thakur ji, removing English as the mandatory subject in the matriculation exam had a twofold impact. One, the number of matriculates enhanced significantly. Okay? Significantly, improving the social indicators and outcome. Improved. Second, the vernacular language got a boost. Okay, and this had a side impact also. Of cultural augmentation, friends. Cultural augmentation. Okay. So this was his first legacy. See, we must understand that the leader of this stature has many legacies, but we have to focus on important things, pinpoint on those things which are relevant to our syllabus. Okay. And by syllabus, I mean UPSC CSE examination. Now let us look on his second legacy, that is that of social reform. So, as we earlier studied, that Shree Karpoori Thakur ji was influenced by Gandhian principles, and this particular legacy of his is an attribute of the same. He was one of the first leaders in Bihar who forethought that there should be a prohibition in place, that is, alcohol was banned. Students, please tell me which article of the Constitution provides for prohibition. Okay. Now, coming out to his third and most important legacy, which we will see a little bit in detail, is that of social justice. Now, viewers, social justice has many aspects, but the aspect that Karpoori Thakur ji most emphasized was on social affirmative action. And how? During his chief ministership, he implemented the recommendation of Mungeri Lal Commission report, which eventually led to what we know known as Karpoori Thakur formula. Now, what is it? What is Karpoori Thakur formula? It provided for OBC reservation, but not only that. Alongside reservation, it broke the OBC reservation into two categories, one for backward and one for most or extremely backward. So, Karpoori Thakur ji had this vision or political astuteness, social astuteness to understand that within the OBC community there are some who might require more attention and more preference than other in order to join the mainstream. But it doesn't stop here. Apart from giving reservations to OBCs, Karpoori Thakur ji also provided in KTF formula reservation for women as well as EWS. So, with one shot, he provided cure for or tried to provide the cure for caste plus class plus gender various. Okay, students, this is very important. Caste, class, and gender various. All three he tried to address with implementing the recommendation of Mungeri Lal Commission report. Now, we must understand that when we use the term legacy, we do not use it lightly. Usually, legacy is used when an action has outcome which influence other actions. So, what exactly did the politics and actions of Shree Karpoori Thakur ji influenced? Mungeri Lal Commission report eventually went on to influence the recommendations of Mandal Commission, and also what we today know as caste census. In this picture, we see the Mandal Commission submitting its report to President Gyani Zail Singh. So, we can rightly say that the precursor to both Mandal Commission and the caste census was the KTF formula based on Mungeri Lal Commission report. Now we can fully understand the depth and importance of Mungeri Lal Commission report and consequently that of Karpoori Lal Thakur ji. Now coming on to some of the insightful anecdotes associated with Karpoori Lal Thakur ji. Friends, I have mentioned here two anecdotes, but there is a very important third anecdote also associated with Lalu Yadav ji. The first anecdote involves Mr. Tito, the leader of Yugoslavia and also one of the founding members of NEM. Once Karpoori Thakur ji as an MLA went as a part of delegation to Austria. There, Mr. Tito saw that the clothes of our leader Karpoori Thakur ji were torn and tattered at several places, and he gifted him a coat. The second anecdote is also associated with coat. This incident is of the time when the leaders of the Janta-Party were gathering to celebrate the birthday of Jai Prakash Narayan ji. In that gathering, the Prime Minister, at that time he wasn't the Prime Minister, but later on, Sri Chandrasekhar ji noticed that Karpuri Thakurji was wearing a coat which was torn and tattered at several places. Chandrasekharji requested his friends and colleagues to donate some money to Karpuri Thakurji so that he can buy a coat. However, Karpuri Thakurji, though he accepted the money, he never bought a coat from it. He gave that money to the Chief Minister's Relief Fund, CM's Relief Fund. This shows that how deeply the cause of public service and public welfare was ingrained in him. The third legacy, friends, is associated with the famous leader of Bihar, Shri Lalu Yadavji. What happened was Lalu Yadavji and Karpuri Thakurji were both members of the Bihar Legislative Assembly at that time. And Karpuri Thakurji was feeling a little under the weather, a little ill, and also he was very hungry. So he requested Lalu Yadavji for a jeep. However, Lalu Yadavji refused. And how did he refuse it? He said that there is no fuel in his jeep. But he didn't only refuse giving the jeep, he also made some taunt or a comment on Karpuri Thakurji. He said that you yourself have been the Chief Minister of Bihar, why don't you buy your own jeep? To which Shree Karpoori Thakurji replied that forget about buying a car, I don't even have money to purchase fuel. Okay. Now these anecdotes are not irrelevant. They are relevant to understand the changing profile of politicians. Okay. So whenever you write a paper to answer where a question come on political parties or politicians or changes in present day politics or role of money and muscle power, you can always give this context that as how as an MLA and even as the chief minister, Karpuri Thakurji had very little means even for his basic needs, and how today the power and money is very closely associated with the politicians, with the elected representative, so much so it has become a cultural thing. How? We have seen in movies, in music, even in the acts of stand-up comics like Chacha Ji Vidhayak hai hamare, that politicians are always associated with money, power, etc. And it also speaks volumes how today's politics is mired in money, muscle, etc. Okay, moving on to the next part. Let's understand the importance of Karpuri Thakurji for us today. Here I will write a simple equation that Karpuri Thakurji valued the politics of principles more over politics of convenience. Today when we see that the political leaders either join an alliance or leave an alliance for their personal interests. Most recently we have seen such thing happening in Bihar, and it also happens elsewhere in the country. Karpuri Thakurji presents a benchmark for politics of principle. Politics of principles. He stood forth for what he believed, that is affirmative action and mainstreaming the backward communities, women, and even the economically weaker sections, even at the huge political cost. So today, with this, I would like to end this lecture. If there is anything more that you would like to add, please mention in the comment section so that we can all learn that. Thank you for your time. I hope you liked this lecture. We'll see you soon. Thank you.